Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce Mr. Dan Lejesker, founder and CEO of NEON Reality, a visionary leader in immersive learning, AI, and XR. He has revolutionized education and industry training worldwide. With a background in aerospace engineering, Mr. Lejesker has led global ventures, including RealityBuy.com, Greenwave Systems. Under his leadership, NEON Reality has impacted millions, bridging the gap between knowledge and experience through cutting-edge technology. An award-winning entrepreneur and a global speaker, he continues to drive innovation in spatial computing and AI-powered learning. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dan Lejesker on stage.
First of all, thank you, Dr. Umesh. It's a pure delight to be in New Delhi. I've been here more than 30 times, and I look forward to the next 30 to 40 times. This week, I started my week just before then in California. Since then, I covered Singapore, Riyadh, Dubai twice, and finally, I'm reaching my highlight of the trip, which is New Delhi. The future, right? We're looking at the future of humanity. You are all here, the largest country on earth, among the youngest population on earth. And I'm very honored and blessed and happy. First time I did this ceremony, so I hope I'll enjoy it in the future. Today I'll be very practical, not boring, but practical. I'm going to talk about learn, train, and perform, and how you can use this technology today if you're a student, if you're a teacher, in any aspects of education. So this thing is rolling across the world, right? I was not long ago in places like Vietnam, El Salvador, Kenya. But let's go to a place that I don't visit that often, Vietnam.
Hello everyone, I'm Manav from NEON Reality Vietnam. It's an honor to be part of the NEON Reality families and as strategic partners as the lead providers of the NEON XR in Vietnam.
In the interest of your time, I'm not going to show the whole video. But here's a good example where we started with 2 people 2 years ago. And now EON Vietnam is 35 people, and we are rolling out to 70 schools and just beginning a national rollout to millions. We have a very good collaboration with academic institutions, government, enterprises, and our goal is to reach 20 million very soon. Okay. Vietnam is a smaller country than India, so I admit that. But I use that as an example of what they didn't start long before you. I'll give you another example from another corner of the world.
Hello everyone. I'm Everardo Rivera from the Senate in El Salvador, Central America. It's truly an honor for us to be part of the EON Reality family and to establish an EON XR Center here in our country. With the deployment of EON Reality's cutting edge.
Again, in the interest of the time, I'm not going to listen to the whole thing. All I'm going to say is that in El Salvador, Honduras, Paraguay, we didn't have anything just a year ago. And now Latin America, from Colombia to Brazil, are bursting. 42 million users in not too long time. But these are small numbers compared with what India has to offer. We talk about 1 billion people. Many, I think it's about 260 million people that need retraining. And that's what we're here together. So my main speech today is I'll share what we can do, and then I stretch out an arm so we together can deploy something wonderful here in India. Okay. So now let's switch gears to practical things. Learn, train, perform. That's our mantra. And what does that mean? It means the ability to take any book, any manual that you may have, and convert that from a book, from a textbook that's in English, in Hindi, or Gujarati, and convert it to an immersive experience like the one you see here. And do that in less than 70 seconds, ideally. In fact, we're going to do it in the next 200 seconds. Now, once you've done that, you learn, you want to train. And the training is about show me what to do, let me do it myself, whether that's a nuclear power plant or an engine, and then evaluate me. And then evaluation goes very practical, like you see here, that I'm looking at every step you made, every move you make, every step you made. We'll see how well you did. So that's about that. Now, the last step is about reforming, and this becomes increasingly important, right? Whether you have a phone or glasses, and let's say I've done all these steps on a power plant in Karela, but I don't remember all the 54 steps. So my avatar will help me in reality to guide me, assist me through that process. So with that said, let's do a demo. And let's create a demo about robotics. Robotics, we expect to have 10 billion of them, says the gentleman Koleamos, and robotics and AI in India. In India, okay? And let's let AI beautify what I just said. Explore the vibrant landscape of robotics in India, yeah? Let's make it hard skill. Let's make it English. I could have done Hindi, but my Hindi is not existing. And then I will do 5 experience based on that. And then we'll create it right now. Go here. And what's happening is that we have 32 agents. We all heard about 2025 being the year of the agent that go to work. Now, Lalit, you're going to help me select 2 of those. Maybe introduction to robotics as 1, hands-on robotics projects. Which one of the remaining 2 would you like?
Future trends.
Future trends. Good. Okay, so now we do future trends. Now, what you see now here would have taken me probably 30 engineers in Bangalore and New Delhi to develop what we're going to see in 60 seconds. That's the beauty of this. Nobody disputes the value of augmented virtual reality. We know we can learn faster, retain information longer, make better decisions. But if it takes 30 days for engineers to do it, it's not practical. Okay, so now when I have it, you can see here, just to see, this is a little bit my track record. You can see that I was doing industrial cell biology, closing a sale. There were soft skills, right? How do you get people to sell? 3D printing, vertical twin steam engines, bolt extraction methods, Korean history development. Now, if I want to develop something that is specific based on a book, I can click on Train AI and then I get my own book. Okay, so without further ado, I'm not going to use, I can obviously use the computer to share this with you. The problem with that is most times students may not have access to a computer handy at any time, but they have access to this. In fact, 7 billion people have access to this. And we're going to go through a journey. There's going to be a lecture, there's going to be an engagement, there's going to be an assessment, there's going to be a skill simulator, Socratic dialogue, and a full review. So what I just done now, in a few seconds, will take us an hour to digest of immersive experiential learning. So I skipped the first step, you notice, and the reason I skipped it because I already have my lesson. And then I'll go to workspace, and you'll see the lessons that we just created. So 4 seconds ago, I don't know if you people in the front end see, 4 seconds ago, it's future trends in robotics. And 26 seconds ago, we had introduction to robotics. And because I'm prudent, I'm going to click on the pen. The pen is going to allow me to actually review and update the lessons before I engage in the course, okay? So, and if I want to change, which I'll do just for exercise, I have 36 million assets to choose from, 3D models, etc., 448,000 courses. So let's put it here. And
You're in edit mode for introduction to robotics.
I can see that I have robotics. I can see where I am.
I'm your AI guy.
I can move everything, so I can see you. So, and I'm looking at this robotics. Doesn't look very impressive, I don't think. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the pen and switch that robot with some other robot. Let's say this one. So now automatically I have 36 million assets at my benefit. Now you can see that I'm in a physical environment, this environment. You can see my finger here, right? But I can also switch and see that I'm in a different place. It looks like a robotics environment. It's 360. That was generated on the fly. So now it's taking us to a full lecture about this. and it identifies things in my environment, right? It sees. It's not just creating stuff. And this lecture will take about 10-15 minutes. I'll skip that and go to something I call engagement. At this stage, I can ask a lot of questions about this specific robot that I have here. It could be any questions that I want to ask. So let's listen in. And then, by the way, if I don't like this environment, which I may not, I'll switch to this.
This helps you connect with the lesson topic through suggested questions. Or you can ask any questions of your own to explore the subject further.
So now it's generating these questions and answers. Yeah, so I guess someone is monitoring that. Let's see what's happening here. So he didn't like my question. It was outside the topic. So it's very, here I can program it, so it's very strict. If you try to do something that's outside the topic, it would not allow you. So now I'm moving to...
Which component is essential for a robot to perceive its environment?
Actuator, no. Sensors. Yeah, sensors is probably a better answer. I can also do Socratic analysis. So now he's gonna quiz me, because everything I do in this environment, every move I make, every step I take, it's measuring. So it measured how much I listen to the lesson. I will get a really lousy score. It's gonna measure how well I did in my assessment, which I did not so well. And now it's gonna ask me a question.
Start with a question and adapt the difficulty based on your answers, creating a personalized learning experience. Let's begin with an easy question. What is the primary function of sensors in robotics?
What's the primary sensor? The ability to provide input that can be utilized by the robot for actions. Great. Okay, so I did, I guess, pretty well.
Great. Let's move
This is adaptive learning, so it's going to ask me tricky questions now.
to a robot's interaction with its environment.
And obviously, it's going to continue. But as I promised you, I'm not going to take you to the whole thing. The next step is the skill simulator. That will take us probably 20 minutes to go through. And eventually, we'll have a end station with a review. Okay, so you saw a very simple example, as simple as it gets, for what we call learn, train, perform. Let's dissect that a little bit. So what did we exactly do? We went through hard skills. We skimmed through the lecture. We did a little bit of engagement. We didn't do the assessment properly. We didn't do the training. So in training, we have 4 types of simulators. We have procedure simulator, help me to replace the brake pad on a car. We have decision simulator, triage at the nursing, a patient that comes in with a broken arm and one that has a heart failure. Which one do you treat first? Explorers, let's explore the next galaxy. So you have to do a simulator for that. And we have creative simulator. You have certain parameters to design this rocket engine, and you have to decide which parameter to use to design it. So that's training. And finally, you have performing, where you actually have to do things physically in real life. So it's a circle of learn, train, perform, repeat. Now, one thing that we work with is to facilitate and make things easier on the back end. But what about making things easy on the front end? Let's listen in.
That's immersive and tailored just for you. Introducing Smart Reality, a revolutionary app that transforms your course materials into dynamic, interactive experiences.
By the way, he's not real,
Hello, I'm
sorry.
your Smart Reality mentor. What would you like to learn
Neither
about
is
today?
she.
I'd like to learn about jet engines.
Great choice. Let's dive into the world of jet engines.
Please explain how all those components work together. The high-pressure turbine extracts energy from these gases to drive the high-pressure compressor. This energy extraction is crucial for maintaining the engine's operation.
So you get the point. No more interface. The AI is the UI, right? That's the next future. Let's see if I go to EON Reality. I clone myself. It's a very dangerous thing to do, because you can actually talk yourself out of a job eventually. He's a little bit cheaper than me, and I can work for 40 cents an hour. So let's have a look and see what. Now, this gentleman happens to read all my books. I brought a few of them, all the white papers. That's the gentleman over there, right? And I was trying to talk with him, but I think because I'm connected with the internet, it supersedes everything. So for a moment, we'll go back to him in a second because I couldn't get the volume to work. Anyway, so let's go back. I'll show you a little bit what you were supposed to see with someone that looks much better than me.
Yes, hello. I'm interested in becoming an air traffic controller. Can you create a lesson that is an introduction to air traffic control?
Our platform can help you with tailored learning in areas, including runway and taxiway distance management.
So basically, the application was created by voice command. And then she pops into your room. The same lady.
Time enclosures strategically to avoid peak traffic periods.
And you notice she's much more realistic than the cartoonish version I had originally. And she's even graceful. I couldn't do that. So I think you got an upgrade. Okay. Okay. So let's go to the next important part. Now, let's say I do this, but I don't like what AI is doing. I want to control it myself. I'll give you a concrete example. So let's say I want to have a lesson about my heart and heart surgery or human heart anatomy. And I click on this, I got the lesson, and I don't like it. I don't like the background, I don't like the image, I don't like the 3D. I can, with a snap of a button, change everything. So in this case, let's change the background. You notice that pops up instantly. And I will pick out of the hundreds of hearts I have, different ones from my 36 million assets.
Observe the aorta.
And now I can actually do the course. So that's exciting, right? And I can do the same for an environment. In fact, it's so exciting that Singapore's president on the 17th of January, together with your minister, I don't know if you recognize your minister to the right, was presented by E.ON at an event. You can see this gentleman here with a headset. His name is Ali. Some of them have seen him. He's been here. And they had a request just 1 hour before the event. He said, we like everything we see, but we don't like, it has to speak Indian, the Indian way. It has to be our environment, not your American environment. And it has to be our model. And you have, can you do it now? Let's listen in.
Explain about the hoisting rope of all components that is connected.
Hoisting ropes are essential components in an elevator system.
So he has proper English, I think. And then he's talking about various things, but we also did something that we couldn't do in real life, namely a fire, something that occurred which was unexpected that he has to solve as a part of the simulation. So you can see the power of instantly changing things in a realistic way. And by the way, we have Sophia that you met. She's your mentor. She can come up with answers to any lesson you want. Sean can take your books, 800-page about thermodynamics, finite element analysis, and crack propagation in engines, and convert them in a few minutes to immersive experiences. And Raj is your navigator. So if you want to be a nuclear power plant engineer, what is it you lack in a gap analysis in order to achieve that? So that's what happens here. We can also have multiple teams. So if you go to a hospital, you don't want to have a role play with one, you can have 3. And you also want to see the difference between the old and the new. So to the right, you see our old avatar. To the left, you see the new one. Another thing I would like you to do is to close your eyes for the next 10 seconds. I will play a little recording for you, and there will be a lady and there will be a man, and you need to let me know which of these two is artificial intelligence and which is a human. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Wish you could just step inside a textbook instead of just,
Yeah, I think we've all been there.
Well, that's what EON reality is aiming for. Yep, and their tool of choice, spatial AI.
Okay, so we're talking about more than just making things look cool and 3D.
Right, although they do that too.
You can open your eyes.
We're talking about learning 4 times faster.
4 times.
So Notebook LM is a partnership with Google, for those that don't know. And what we've done, Notebook LM is a podcast with voice, but we integrated this with AI and contextual, so you can actually talk with them. So sometimes it's boring to listen to a lesson, right? So rather having the same professor saying the same thing, if you want to learn, you start with a podcast, and then you actually have the podcast members to show you what you want to do. Now, what I have now, and you see the beginning of, is that what if I want to do not only a 360, but a full 3D environment? So I can walk through that door and something will happen. That wasn't possible until recently, but it's now possible. We are using the latest game technologies to text to 3D. It's not going to be released now. It's going to be released first in April, but text to 3D. So in addition to 36 million assets that we have, that's quite a lot. You can actually generate anything. So there's a lot of new inventions that are happening. Now, to do all this, our strategy is to have a beauty contest every month. So we line up Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, and 32 other partners. We obviously have our technology or patents, and then you say, who's the best? So let's say lineup number 1, LLMs. So starts with OpenAI, Claude, let's say Grok 3, Llama, and so on and so on. There's quite a few of them. And then the best one wins. Last week, Grok entered the arena and he's winning. But just yesterday, we had Claude 3.7, if you guys follow the latest. So we know every day, and if you use the EON platform, that you'll have the best technology, best LLM, best text to 3D, best text to voice, best enabled to do 360, best precision tracking, best ability to see. So we are really focusing on getting the best technology in all aspects. And one thing we know, that the winners of today will not be necessarily the winners of tomorrow. We have centers. I just was in Riyadh. We signed a quite big center with them for almost 70 million to do a national rollout. This has been rolled out in places like Singapore, where they do their own things, right? They create their own lessons. And that's what we're doing here with Manav Rachna. So white label on our own lessons. And we've had visitors such as your Prime Minister looking at this. And we also started a little bit in India. So the first initiative we had was in Odisha. And that was the one that your minister visited last month or previous month, yeah. So the idea is to create digital twins of these things that you see here. And then perhaps the crowning point was the fact that we were able to sign a contract with NSDC and Manav Rachna. And my vision of this is to link that with the industry, right? So everything we do has to lead into a job. So that's why we have now engaged in a partnership with CII, that is the Federation of Industry in India. And I couldn't resist when the minister invited me to do this. So you recognize the minister's speech, and NCRT produces 50 million books. That's quite a lot. And when you hold your phone to any book, any page, you'll be able to see on page 37 anatomy, on page 58 an engine, and it all pops up in front of your eyes. So that's very exciting, and I think that's a great potential. Another great potential is your ITIs. So I had the honor to meet your Minister of Technical Vocational Skills, and there's a project, I think, funded by Asia Development Bank it's a 7.2 billion to revolutionize this. So my goal is very simple. We only have 45 million users now. We want to reach 1 billion. So today, although EON has 36 million assets, it was very difficult for each asset to generate all the annotations. It takes about an hour to do a good annotation because you have to verify, and maybe not for an engine, but for a nuclear power plant or Machu Picchu. So with EON, you can now click on one single button and it generates the annotations on the fly for almost anything. So this can be, in this case, it's an engine, but let's say you have, and this is done without human interaction. So any model of the 36 million, whether they have or not, you see, I can go here and I take a picture, and this is happening. The AI takes picture from 36 different directions and generates the annotations. What has this to do with simulators? I'll explain in a second what.
Or activities.
So this can also happen, by the way, on a scanned model. Let's say you don't have it, but you can use your phone to scan.
The apprentice a frame.
Okay, so going to this, to your question, one more thing also. So this can also happen in reality. Doesn't have to be in virtual reality. It can be in physical reality. So if you can see this here, I enter in a room, I take a picture, and then you can see it identifies the annotations in the physical room. And then based on that, it starts to show you, tell you, and guide you and assist you. So let's go to the 4 simulators now. So why is this so important? Skill simulators covers 25% of the use cases, right? How to replace something, but doesn't cover 75%. Which are the remaining 75%? I kind of alluded, but I kind of skimmed over. So what we have now, and this is releasing now, and it's not in the future, this you'll get now in March, is a determinator that will be a bifurcation line, depending on the use case, that will select one of the 4 simulators. So in the medical case that I say triage, it will determine that this applicable one, when you need to take a decision, is the decision simulator. And that will have a different path, because then you create a scenario for nursing, and there will be a patient coming in, and you have to make decisions. So that's one. The other one I was alluding to is exploratory simulator. Let's say you're on an unfamiliar territory in a nuclear power plant, and you need to make determination. There you need to acquire data or explore the solar system, right? So total different use case, and the bifurcation line gets you there. So I'll end with this slide, that when you think about E.ON, don't only think about an XR platform that can help you learn faster, retain information longer, make better decisions, but also think about this. Our role is to deliver the platform, the courses, the certification, and help you with the matchmaking. And it's not only students, it's also career starters, career switchers, advancers. And government will have to give you these people, because otherwise they will be white-collar unemployed. And the government cannot tolerate that. So that's going to happen in the next 24 to 36 months. That's the future we need to get ready for. On that note, thank you so much. It's been wonderful. I wish you all a pleasant weekend, and looking forward to the next session. All the best. Thank you. The way I would like to leave you, because I still have some time, is to say the following, that, nothing happens until we have, in America, we say butts in the seats. Sorry, my English, meaning that people need to wake up in the morning. We normally can do one thing at a time, right? You wake up and you have an assignment. So to implement this within your universities, Dr. Umesh and I discussed, so we'll institute something we call E.ON ambassadors, students that will be extra trained. So they will learn the tools, understand the tools, etc. But beyond that, we are far more ambitious. Our partnership stretches up to 1 million users. And the way we did 1 million users in Vietnam, where we had 2 people 2 years ago, and now we have 32 people that every morning wake up and we have bus tours, road shows, we are on the TV, we are essentially everywhere. And we started with only 70 schools, that's in itself quite a lot. And what I wanted to show you with this video that I started with is that now within less than 1 year, 32 people work for E.ON Reality on full time. And what they do is awareness, understanding, and belief. Those are the 3 things that happen every day. And the government has been very helpful, but it wouldn't have happened without the energy of this gentleman that you say to the left. And actually the lady is our CEO. So a young lady with young people that work nonstop, they're passionate. And every student and teacher, we need to take to this journey of awareness that this exists, understanding how this can help my school, my environment, and finally belief. And without these three things, nothing happens. So we need to walk the talk. We need to do those activities, and we need to have people that are fully designated to this, nothing else, right? So, and we can expect that from you, because you have a job to do. You have other things, other priorities. So it's important that we help you in that context. And I think the ambassadors will go a long way. So by next week, while I'm here, I'll be here until the 9th. We're gonna roll that out. But it's not only that, it's also to have boots on the ground from EON's and our partner side, which is Asia. So that's that. And one more thing now, I still have time, so I don't want you to, I want to show you one more fun. I promise you some surprises, and I didn't deliver on that. So here's an example of an application we call the Career Compass. So we start with a skill assessment. So for example, let me put my LinkedIn. So I can either put my CV or I put my profile. So I'll put it here. By the way, I used Vibe coding for this. So I coded this application. It took me exactly 1 hour. So, so this was the MVP, the minimum viable product based on which they are creating. And let's say, which is my career? I'm switching career to something different. Give me some crazy idea. Astronaut or archaeologist. Surgeon. Surgeon, okay. So let's see if I can become a surgeon. It's kind of late, but with life prolongation strategy, maybe I can make it. Surgeon. So save the career goals. Medical surgeon. Doctor. Medical. So let's see if it works. So this would take me normally, before AI, lots of people, maybe 5 guys working nonstop just to create this little app, right? So here's the required certification: medical doctor, MD, basic life support, clinical diagnosis, patient care, critical thinking. This is what I don't have. This is my missing required. I'm not an MD. I'm not board certified. I don't have basic. I need a lot. So it compared because I have a master in computer science, I have a master in mechanical engineering, aerospace, I have a PhD in non-linear, but none of that is no fit, right? So now I see recommended courses. So now, Doctor Medical Fundamentals this is a Coursera, this is Udacity. And of course, we link it to Manav, right? The future will be much more dynamic because people will be very demanding that they want a job. They don't want to just show to their parents that, look, I made it through my exam. That concept is still there, still be there, but so you can see, and by the way, my support chat here, when I can, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm depressed and not sure about floristry. So I really had a long discussion with him about what I really want to do. So this is possible. I didn't code a single line. So if you are curious about this, there's a software called Replit, and I'll show it for you just to, so whoever is curious. So go here, Replit, and you talk with it, and you explain what you want. It's like, let's say you're a big boss and you want to, we go here to home, so you can see there's career with confidence. You can see that. And then here, we can go to home, and you can see different application: Career Advisor, Career Compass, EON Innovate, etc., etc. And then if I'm interested in, let's say, EON Innovate, all I have to do is to see the deployment. That's the app. Transform your journey, log in, use a password. So this is Innovate. And you may wonder, what's that? What's EON Innovate? Let me show you. I'll show you here. Let me show you EON Innovate. The rabbit hole goes far. So the future of how you learn. So remember, I talked about passion, right? Passion, curiosity, agency, seek out the problem, and drive. Get the job done. So to do that application, I had to go back and forth for an hour. It even took me 3 days. So traditional learning lacks hands-on experience. Coding is a barrier. and scale of personalization. That's the challenge we all face, right? So Innovate combines no code, XR simulation, and AI mentor. So you can sit or talk with that lady, Sophia, and tell her what you want. And you sit there with a glass of tea while you meditate, and you say your mantras, and you are very inspired. You are in a state of flow. How many people know state of flow? Raise your hand. Okay, I'll talk about flow in a second. Flow is a secret weapon that you need to get. That will increase your productivity 700%. I have it every morning at 4 a.m. I do flow. And I'll come back to that. She asked me about spirituals. This is not really spiritual. Is he here? Okay, so then to be continued, as they say. So there's a whole presentation here, including flow. But I'll end on flow. So flow is this when you walk on clouds. It happens for most of us once a week when we feel everything is going painless. Okay, so with no further ado, we have the MD here.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce Mr. Vedmani Tiwari, sir, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Skill Development Corporation and Managing Director of NSDC International. With a distinguished career spanning over 3 decades, Tiwari, sir, has been a pivotal force in advancing skill development across India. His leadership at NSDC has been instrumental in bridging the gap between industry demands and workforce capabilities, ensuring that India's youth are equipped with the skills necessary for a dynamic and evolving job market. Mr. Tiwari's extensive experience encompasses significant roles in both public and private sectors, including leadership positions in transportation, urban infrastructure, renewable energy, and clean tech industries. His strategic vision and commitment to innovation have consistently driven transformative projects that contribute to the national growth and development. An alumnus of the Indian School of Business, Mr. Tiwari has also enhanced his expertise through executive programs at prestigious institutions such as the Warren School and Kellogg School of Management. His academic and professional journey reflects a dedication to continuous learning and excellence. Under his leadership, NSDC has launched numerous initiatives aimed at creating a future-ready workforce, aligning with the global standards and fostering international collaborations. Mr. Tiwari's visionary approach continues to shape the skill development landscape, empowering individuals and driving economic progress. Please join me in welcoming Sri Vedmani Tiwari to share his invaluable insights with us today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Umesh, Mr. Dan, and the distinguished guests who are here. I'm sure that you have had a wonderful session over the day. And I must say that I met Mr. Dan about 2 years ago. And that time he had presented his app to me. We were just having a breakfast in one of the hotels. He was taking a flight. I was about to take a flight. And AI was not being heard in that intensity at that point of time. It all changed when OpenAI announced ChatGPT in November 2022. And for me also, then it became a moment of reckoning. That because many times what happens is that technologies also have a time of reckoning. That when the time is right, the technologies do take off. And why does that happen? That happens whenever the convergence of many technologies happens. Internet is very old. We all know internet story, but internet became what it is today only when the convergence of internet and telecommunication happened, and when telecommunication became a mobile-based telecommunication, internet became such a big thing that we see today. We cannot imagine today internet without mobile phone. Time and again, convergence of technologies have created a tremendous opportunity. What is the true value of internet today? The true value of internet is that the marginal cost of producing anything in an internet economy is next to nothing. simple example that prior to Kindle or electronic book category, every book had to be printed, distributed, and there was a marginal cost of producing every single book. Today, a copy of a book can be produced at zero cost. And this is where the true power of convergence lies. And that's where the business models also change, dramatically change. I'll just give you an example that many of you may not know, that digital photography was discovered, invented in Kodak. And when Kodak engineers presented that to their board, they thought over it, and then they said that who we are. And they believe that we are a chemical company. We make money by selling the rolls, not camera. And that's why they decided to park that technology. But then Sony came, convergence happened, that because of the mobile phones, the memory was becoming cheaper and cheaper, the battery life was coming. So battery technology, memory technology, processors, the convergence was happening. And whenever the convergence of technologies happened, exponential curve is discovered where the cost of delivering the same thing goes down dramatically. So I was earlier working in a renewable energy company, and my global CEO used to say that with solar and wind, humanity has discovered something which it had never discovered earlier. The marginal cost of production of an energy unit from a solar or wind plant is zero. Because once a plant is built, it's a sunk cost. And as long as wind is blowing or sunlight is falling, you have the zero marginal cost. So then I asked him that if this is a zero marginal cost business, why are we in it? We won't make any money. He brought me back to the same discussion of digital photography. He just took out his mobile phone and showed picture of his family. And he said that 20 years ago, how much it would have cost me to have a picture like this. He said that $100. Why? $20 for a roll, $20 for development, and I would consume at least 4 or 5 such rolls to get a great picture which I preserve to keep it on my mobile phone. So something which was costing me $100 20 years ago costs me nothing. But does that mean that there is no economy around digital photography? Trillions of dollars of new industries emerge around that. Which are those industries? The industries, the photo sensor. Every mobile phone has photo sensor. The photo sensor companies are doing rocking business. Because today mobile phones are sold on 3 camera, 4 camera, 5 camera, this resolution, that resolution. It's not about mobile phone, it's about camera. Then your storage. Everybody wants to, because clicking a picture is free, so you can actually go on clicking pictures and videos, and that's why you need more and more storage. So storage companies do roaring business. The battery life is mostly goes because of this photography. So the battery companies make huge business. Mobile phone companies, they sell their phone because of the camera. And then the multi-trillion dollar experience economy which Facebook and Insta could create around only this picture and video. And that is why I say that we are entering into a very different world. And when Dan had the vision many years ago, and he used to talk about spatial AI. He would not talk about that I'm doing AR, VR, MR based content. he would talk about that I have a technology and product which is spatial AI technology. And that means that what we are talking about is convergence of these XR technologies and AI. And this convergence is extremely powerful. And that is why the role of immersive technologies is going to be very important. All of us know that the generative AI, the pace of development of generative AI has tremendously increased, and DeepSeek type of companies have demonstrated that now you can have a cost curve also which will become affordable to people. Now when these two things happen, that you have a cutting edge content generation at a fraction of a cost, and you can dramatically produce it in no time, multi-trillion dollars of industries will get disrupted, because every single day new and new product will get created at no cost. Today there is a cost for bringing a new product to the market. There's a cost of doing a design, prototyping, doing some A/B testing in the market, creating some experience. Now if the AI, the multimodal generative AI and XR technologies converge, you can actually create a product in that space, and you can also kill a product in no time. We all know Nano story, that how much money Tata invested into this and how difficult it was to kill that product. It happens in business that you bring a product and that product is not going to work, and the cost of killing that product becomes an extremely difficult proposition. Now imagine that these XR and multimodal AI technologies, they will allow companies to create products, do testing in the XR space, take customer feedback in the XR space, improve the product in the XR space, and that's the kind of opportunity that is in front of us. We should not restrict our thinking to that this is only a learning product. We should be able to expand our horizon, our thinking horizon, and think about what all can be done here. Many times I keep talking about this, that we are entering into a very interesting era. James Watt invented steam engine, and that was starting of an industrial era. Industrial era demonstrated that we are the only species which can overcome the Darwinian limitation on our physical abilities. And after that, everything that we see in front of us, humanity has learned that we have no biological limitation as far as our physicality is concerned. The AI is a next wave in that now you realize that there is no limit on your cognitive capability. And imagine that in a physical world, your limitations of being anywhere in space and time, in space, was dramatically reduced. Now imagine that in cognitive development, you will be able to be anywhere in the space, and you can just pull out the knowledge anywhere available in the world. And if you integrate that and design experiences around that, today when you see XR/MR content, these are early stages, but soon time will come where very real life, or maybe better than real life type of experiences will start emerging there. This I call dawn of intelligence era. We are all entering into an era of intelligence. Just like we saw industrial era, it's an intelligence era. Knowledge is given. Educational institutions will have to dramatically change. because knowledge is available on demand. During our time, the best student is one who can rectify everything. You can cram, just drink the entire book and vomit it in next day in the examination. That is available now through the chat GPT, etc. Your lecturers, etc. must be struggling badly that students are now able to find every answer through chat GPT, what they will do. And that is where the both challenge and opportunity emerges. And opportunity is that if the information is available on demand, then the education system, what it should prepare people for. And that is where the question of where human beings will be leading this curve. Somebody was asking me that in the world of generative AI, what work human beings will do. But we forget that if you ask a question to chat GPT, it says that my information is only up to 2022 such and such date. All these models have been trained only on the knowledge created by human beings. But one thing is clear, that when we talk about a generative AI, incremental knowledge, these models will be able to do better than any of us. So as human beings, we will have to be leading this creation of content. A large proportion of the content which hitherto was considered creative will no more be creative. And the generative AI tools will be able to do far better job than this. And with agentic AI coming into picture, they will be able to do decision making, etc. So, and that's where all of us have to be technology ready. Our mindsets have to be like that, that we have to lead the development of technology. And there is no better option than being just native to immersive technologies. I'll tell you that, and what is being native to a technology means. If you go today to airport, etc., mall, etc., there is a mother who has a toddler in the pram. The toddler is only 3 months old, and has a mobile phone in her hand, and is quickly changing the cartoons on that, and is thoroughly enjoying. Now imagine that how do our brains develop? Our brains have billions of neurons, and everybody has billions of neurons. It's how those neurons fuse and the interconnection that is established among those neurons that decides how we develop. Now imagine a child who is only 3 months old, has access to this 5-inch, 6-inch screen, and this 6-inch screen is her world. The fusion of the neurons that is happening in her brains are very different than the brain development that were happening to us. And that is what I say, that being native towards learning to a new technology. For them, a 6-inch screen is good than enough, and they can do a lot in this. Now imagine that if this is 6-inch screen is what Vision Pro, Apple is bringing that technology. Now imagine that if they are provided this kind of things, how quickly they will learn the world. The whole world's information will dramatically change. And that is where all of us are fortunate that we are starting this journey. I will say that Dan had the vision and we are ahead of time. We are fortunate that we can actually lead this revolution. And in times to come, sometimes people say whether the education as a business will exist or not. I am saying that in times to come, every business will only be an education business, because products will be the half-life of a product will be next to nothing. There will be lots of newer developments happening. So companies, individuals, everybody will have to be on the exponential learning curve and learning on these, producing newer outputs, because what the kind of work we do today, that can be now subordinated to machines, and we will have to be on the learning curve that how do I lead this machine. So in times to come, every business is going to be a learning business. All of us will have to be, as professionals in this intelligence era, will have to do a cognitive work which is 2 steps ahead of the next model that OpenAI or XAI or others will be launching. We will have to be 2 steps ahead of them. And I would highly recommend that somehow we have, whenever somebody gives us a VR set, so we feel awkward, should we wear it or not? I would recommend that please start getting ourselves adapted to this. Industry will definitely change the form factor in times to come. This kind of glass itself will be good enough. But if we are receptive to these technologies, if we do not consider them as something that we can learn later, we will be winner in the emerging world. And this has to become native to us. Our thinking has to evolve. Those who are in the teaching learning space, they will have to all the time think that whatever concept I am trying to say, trying to tell to my class, whether that concept, how can I present it into a experience world and design those experiences. The other day I was having a meeting, and we were having a discussion about instructional designers. And I said that whenever we use instructional designer, it puts off newer generation, because there is this very thought of instruction considers that you can instruct somebody. Whereas the Facebooks and Instas of the world showed that you should not actually become a instructional designer. We should become experience designer. Can learning be an experience? Can instruction designers be experience designers? Because all of us today have our personas in Insta, YouTube, and Facebook world. Can we have those personas fairly well integrated with the learning experience design that we do, so that's a continuity of experience? And the way that toddler in her pram is learning the nuances of new world through that screen of 6 inches, can we make learning that very interesting? And it's not that you are going to a class where instructions will be given to you. The IT world has understood this, and that is why the computing has moved from instruction set to, so until now, every programming language actually is a instruction set that you give to machines to perform as per this. Now from instruction, we are now moved to a learning world, learning and training world. So newer technology is all about training. It's not about instruction. You expect that the machine will learn and will be able to do. In machine learning, when you do this, you expect that the machine will be able to, after some time when it has been trained, it will be able to take decisions on its own behalf, that what are the pattern recognition, etc. are happening. Similarly, when you do an LLM also, you are actually training a model that it should be able to predict the content and do this. So when this world is moving from instruction to training and learning, we also have to redesign our education ecosystem. And the IT world is not only stopping at learning and training, it's now talking about autonomy. The AI agents will be fairly autonomous. They will be able to reason, they will be able to contextualize, and they will be able to take action on their own. So agency of action is also moving away from human beings and moving to this. So autonomy. So can learning be made so intuitive and interesting that autonomous learning happens? And that's where the educationists will have to become a learning experience designers. And that is another powerful opportunity. I think we are living in a very interesting world, and together we should be leading this journey into an intelligent era. Educationists will play a very big role. Here is EON XR technology. Thanks to NSDC-EON partnership, it is now available to large number of people. I'm a firm believer in this technology, and NSDC will do everything that is possible to make it the technology of choice as far as the learning ecosystem is concerned. And with that thought, I would like to stop here, and would once again recommend all of you to wholeheartedly adopt experiential technologies which are based on spatial AI, and that's a opportunity for all of us. And I wish best of luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your encouraging words. I think now I would like to take a couple of minutes to just brief all of you about the initiative that has been patronaged by NSDC, and now the XR tool is learning masses. As sir has briefed, we conducted the first round of EON XR Educator Training Program, which was attended by more than 200 plus professionals from industry and academia. And many such training programs are in the pipeline. We'll be doing a lot of roadshows, not just in North, but all across the country, to make sure that the technology reaches you. NSDC is pretty much open to offering you the licenses on trial basis. We want to see what you create with the power of XR, because just like you have National Library of Books, we want to create the National XR Repository of the country, where the content that we are always talking about, the experience that we want to design for the future workforce, we all work together to make sure that we are able to create it to the highest quality and standards, okay? Not just for the country, but for the world. And now I would request Lalit Yagnik ji to please come forward on the dais to extend the word of thanks. Please, sir.
I don't know. What do you think today's session went? Thank you. But that was whole morning of, or the whole afternoon of what we were immersed in, AI and XR, with then taking through the details as well as vision and where word is going with agentic AI to general AI to Titans. But I think what we just heard from Sri Vedmaniji Tiwari was, absolutely make us think that what can be achieved. So I'll just take a couple of minutes, but before I do that, let me do my job of thanking Vedmaniji for your time and giving us your wisdom and be here. So that has built our confidence, and so that all of us can be stronger in our march towards the vision you painted and what can be achieved. So thank you. Of course, the energetic young man, my friend Dan, he was entertaining us. I didn't see anyone sleeping while he was doing that, which is very hard after lunch. So I would say not only thank him, but also put your hands together for yourself for not sleeping. And third one, I can't imagine how beautiful this event has gone. And that couldn't have happened without absolute support, leadership of Manav, Rachna. You always have been very kind to us, inviting us everywhere. In fact, this is my third trip in last 20 days from Singapore. First time was to train 200 people along with NSDC. I came with Ali. And then again at the IB event, delighted to speak at the event as well as share this technology then, and now today. And I think with what we heard in terms of what's happening with this National Library, I'm sure me and my team as well as Dan would be a lot more here. So we will have a lot more of this. So having completed my job of thanking and putting a perspective as one of my 3 jobs I do, and I'll tell you why I want to connect these 3 jobs which I do. So with that, my lead role of taking EON and bringing EON to India with a lot of trust Dan has put in me, I'll try my best. And I can say that with my team here, Damodar, Abhinav, and all of you, I think we'll do it. So that part. The second job, and why I mentioned that, because I I want to relate to what Maniji said and what Dan has been talking about today. I have two other jobs I do. And by the way, I live in 3 countries, Australia, Singapore, and India. And sometimes within a month, sometimes I've wondered, where do I live, I mean, so all of you speak Hindi, like kal, aaj, or kal, Sometimes I think of Singapore always 2 steps ahead of the world, like ahead of Australia or America. And Singapore is like that. But, and of course, Australia kind of laid back. But when I think of India, and that's where I relate to AI a lot. I think it's a wonderful thing that has happened to us in India. And when I say wonderful thing, I just would relate to what happened 2 days ago after a month of fantastic event. How many of you went to Kumbh? But when I see the news, 66 crore people ended up. Now, I want you to think a little seriously with me. What was that? What was that? Now I gone mad. Why am I talking about AI in the context of Kumbh? But think about eons ago what had happened. Massive Atha Samudra, sea, which was churned painstakingly by even people had to team up, extreme collaboration between, Devatas and Danavas, the gods and the demons. They had to collaborate. Normally, it's like whoever you can find, you collaborate so that you can do manthan, so that you can do painstakingly. And yes, everything may not come out as sweet amrit. There was a poison came out and you had to find somebody to take that as well. But anyway, all that was churned. Massive amount of water was churned to create a little urn of nectar or ghada of amrit. But what is its value? Its value tremendously. Even today, after million years later, zillions of people, 66 crore people are enjoying that. And that's what I relate to. That massive amount of data, relate that to Samudra, the mass Atha Samudra, Atha data, what's happening. And again, when you mentioned that, when you're giving the context of, those cameras and then so much amount of storage, but there's so much of data which is created. And that was, if it is extracted, then what comes out is extremely valuable for the humankind. And when Dan talked about all the different phases of AI, and he said that tremendous value it is creating in our life would be full of abundance, etc. But what I'm trying to say is that, yes, I think we, as Indian, even though a lot of AI is being created, but the value of that AI to be derived, I think we, in our history and even today's talent of India, I feel right down in my heart and passion that I think with that combined, the biggest value one can create out of that is through that AI, through that AR, VR, and everything that Dan today connected, AR, VR, XR with AI. And I think amount of more and more data that what Manji was talking about will be created, and the mining of that data that can be created. And what I'm communicating today is part of my also an additional job. I said 2 things I do in addition to I'm a mentor to a number of startups associated with India's largest homegrown venture fund. And second part, I'm a part-time government employee of India as a part of a 27 team of distinguished professionals of AICTE. And our job is to take innovation across to the faculties and students of 4,000 institutions. And this is something I think, since many of you are faculty, students, PhDs, all of you, I would say, and I'll finish that, but with significant amount of thanks, I think today we have that opportunity, and I'm sure we will do that, especially being led by this university, of course, under the leadership and patronage of NSDC-CMD. And I think we all should be very happy that we are at this wonderful stage that then I think alluded that we today, our generation is extremely lucky. And I feel that today, as I sit in this room and listen to this word of wisdom. So once again, thank you, Umesh ji. You have done a wonderful job always. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, everyone, for attending EON Innovation Showcase 2025 New Delhi edition. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.